with our proclamations. Mayor Suarez has joined us, and I'm going to let him take the lead on our recognitions for today. And I am joined also with my colleague, Commissioner Miguel Gabella. Mayor?
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. I want to acknowledge the presence of former City Commissioner Joe Sanchez. Go ahead.
I'd like to acknowledge that we have a former City of Miami Commissioner with us today, Commissioner Joe Sanchez. Welcome. He proudly served the City of Miami for 11 years, and it was a pleasure for me today to meet him, as I'd never met him before. So thank you for joining us. Thank you for sharing some of those stories.
You're welcome. You snooze, you lose is the okay. Today I have two honors that I want to bestow today. One of them I bestow on behalf of the entire city. Whenever we get to recognize the exemplary work of one of our employees, it's something that, unfortunately, a lot of times our employees are working in the trenches. You guys are in the trenches, and there's sometimes not enough thank yous for the work that you do and for how you help provide a service that keeps our city functioning, running, and really highlighting who we are. And I'm someone who receives a lot of feedback, most of it positive, most of it how great we're doing, how incredibly clean the city is, how wonderful the city is. And I just want to make sure that that filters down to all of you, because I'm one of 4,500. And you guys are what makes it happen. But we have close to 26, I think now. I'm not sure exactly how many departments. It's always in flux every budget year. But it's over 25 departments that we have in the city. And one of them, our Code Compliance Department, used to be Code Enforcement, now it's Code Compliance Department, has been run and is being run very ably by Robert Santos Alborna. And Robert has been a distinguished public servant for 3 decades, including 28 years that he's devoted himself to code compliance and enforcement. He dedicated 23 years of service to Miami-Dade County, where he excelled in a variety of capacities as Team Metro Regional Director, Deputy Director at Animal Services, which were positions that demanded direct engagement with the public, industry, media, and elected officials. In 2010, he transitioned to Miami Beach, where he served as Code Compliance Director for nearly 6 years, later continuing his impactful service as Code Enforcement and Code Official for Palm Beach County from 2016 to July of 21. He has been pivotal in developing metrics and performance measures He's been pivotal in developing metrics and performance measures and addressing zoning, sanitation, nuisance, and environmental regulation, thereby significantly improving operational efficiencies and ensuring effective service delivery across multiple jurisdictions. He has multiple academic accomplishments, from a Master's of Economics from FIU, my alma mater, a Bachelor in International Relations and Economics, and an Executive Certificate from Harvard's John F. Kennedy School of Government, in addition to professional credentials, including certifications and prestigious professional designations. Mr. Santos Alborna, his unwavering dedication, professionalism, and visionary leadership have left an indelible impact on our communities. And so today I call upon all of you to proclaim this day on his behalf. Thank you. January 25th, 2025.
Let me get a couple words in here before you jump in, because we'll get you one. By the way, we got the proper swag for you. So, in coming to the city, sort of through my initial early journey, we all have a sensitivity to the hard work that code compliance does And you know, it's one of those departments that is really unsung, underappreciated in a lot of ways. And you know, when you look at the quality of life of a city, code and compliance is a very key and integral part of that. No questions about it. And for us, you know, that are sort of on the inside in the trenches, we understand the value to that. We understand the value of all the hardworking people that really do their job every day, and very much unsung, right? It is a very difficult department to manage, very difficult. When I had the opportunity to interview Robert and kind of get a sense for what his history was, his perspective, his vision, this is a dynamic professional, somebody that really exemplifies what it is to really put your heart and soul into public service. He's done an exceptional job with the department. I couldn't be happier with a lot of the improvements, a lot of the suggested, you know, sort of that developmental phase that every department goes through to improve and get better at what its core mission is. And a lot of what Robert has instituted and put forth and made recommendations to all of us in you know, sort of senior leadership are things that are going to be legacy initiatives for him and things that we can build on for the future. Robert really is irreplaceable, so it's not an issue of replacing him. Robert's retiring, by the way. We're not just, you know, recognizing him because he is an exceptional employee. It's also because he's leaving us, and we're very sad to see that happen. But happy for him on his next journey in terms of the next phase of his life. Robert, you know, I have the utmost respect for you. I wish you all the joy and happiness in wherever life takes you. You always have a place here. We're your family, and whatever you need in the future, all you have to do is pick up the phone. So best of luck.
Thank you so much.
You bet.
All right.
Thank you so much, Mr. Mayor, Madam Chairwoman, commissioners, Mr. Manager. Clearly bittersweet. It's actually been 40 years that I've been in public service, 28 with Code. Code, as I've discussed with the city manager, is a very demanding and bruising department. Although it's almost 4 years, it seems like dog years. A lot more, and sometimes I feel it's 5 minutes underwater. But when I came in, I told the manager, I have a vision for the department. We are a world-class destination. We need a world-class code department to go along with it. And so we shot for the stars, and maybe we didn't achieve everything that we had as a goal, but we've raised the bar significantly. One of the things that I talked from the very, very beginning is to be guided by a star. And it sounds a little hokey, but I talked about what STAR means, and it's service, it's transparency, it's accountability, and it's responsiveness. And all 4 levels during my tenure, I know that with my team, we raised that bar. I couldn't have done it. No one is an island. I couldn't have done it with the team. We started, all my colleagues, with the Barbie team, and prior to that, the Brooksters, right? Almost a cult. All of you. So all the outward-facing departments, solid waste and human services, etc., working hand in hand with Chief Morales, police department, fire department, Chief Evia, and all the teams. Everyone. I know I'm going to miss someone, but all of you are part of the success of Code. Secondly, and you talked in your state of the art, state of the city. Yes, sir. State of the city. Our family, right? There are long days. Even yesterday, we finished here 8 o'clock, get home at 9. Our family. Couldn't have done it. I have to thank my wife. She's my respite, my confidant, my girlfriend, right? Right behind me. Couldn't do it without you. The team. Those of you that embrace the challenge, because we talked about change, and change is all around us, and you have to embrace it. And if you don't, you fall behind. We talked about the canoe. We were a canoe. And for those of you that don't know the metaphor, I always said, As part of the canoe, if I turn right, you turn left, we go around in circles. If the canoe flips, we all flip together. If your butt gets wet, my butt gets wet. We were in a canoe, and at the end of this entire process, the canoe is going in the right direction. I urge you to maintain that. Two special people, many special people in that department, but Mr. Manager, Mr. Mayor, my mentee, Trelena Haynes. Trey, you are ready. There is no one that has the operational knowledge to take this department and continue on its path. Trust your instinct and go with it. So many other of you, but I'm going to call her my cheerleader. When there were days that things were bad, she always found a silver lining in everything. Betsy Del Val. Betsy, thank you so much. All of my colleagues across the board, the commissioners, everyone here, but there's two specific people before I yield. I'm here because of them. One of them is your CEO. He doesn't seek the spotlight, but he gets it. The other one avoids it even further. The two people that are responsible for our success is City Manager Art Noriega and Deputy City Manager Natasha Colbrook-Williams. I couldn't have done it without you. The last thing, my challenge, this is my motto in life. Leave things better than how you found them. Whatever it may be a paper clip, maybe a paper, take the road less traveled. Take the road less traveled. If all of us improve things, leave things better than how we found them, we'll have a better place for us, for our children, and our children's. Code is better today than how I found it. Thank you all.
Stars, canoes. If you can make code enforcement exciting, let me tell you, you lost your calling, my friend. You should have been a motivational speaker. Just saying, you still have time. You're retired. I think you can transition. Okay. Thank you. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Awesome. Great job. Thank you. Thank you for your all. Picture. Congrats. César. Next, it gives me great joy but let me tell you, my office likes you, Gary. My office likes you. Because we could just do like the standard thing, but they did this really nice thing for you. Vírate para que lo vea. They did this really nice thing for you. Very nice. My office, Barbara and Gail, they must really like you. Look at this. That's above and beyond. So it gives me great joy to commend the work of Gary Nader, who is a visionary leader in the art world. He's a pioneer in Latin American art. He's the founder of a global art destination in his art gallery. He's a champion of iconic artists. He's a creator of the Latin American Museum, an authority on Wilfredo Lam, among many others, and a cultural ambassador for Miami. The last point is the one I want to emphasize. Gary is so much more than an art collector or purveyor of art or a seller of art. Gary has become almost like a piece of art for our community. He's someone that we get to show off. He's someone that shows off our city. He really sells our city, from the Latin Grammys to all of the things that Gary gets involved in. There's never a time when you call on Gary for help for the community that he doesn't say yes. And there's many times where he's the one pushing that initiative. And he's the one trying to build our community into something that is more renowned worldwide, and particularly in our hemisphere. So it gives me great joy and privilege. And let me tell you, my office likes you. I'm telling you, you could have just gotten the thing with a little sobrecito, and you got the full Monty here with the seal. And it says here, in recognition of your exceptional vision, dedication, and unwavering commitment to the arts, we are proud to honor you for your invaluable contribution to both the art world and the broader community. Your ability to cultivate connections, elevate artists, and inspire creativity has transformed the cultural landscape and brought new opportunities for diverse voices to be heard. Thank you, my brother.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Wow. Thank you. Mayor. Best mayor we ever had. I promise you. Commissioners, Madam Chairman, thank you so much. I feel humbled to be here with you today. We all know it. We live in the best city in the world, don't we? Yeah. Best city in the world. And why is that? Of course, it's because of the people that lives here. And I made a decision to come to this town 40 years ago. And my God, I made the best decision I ever made. Look who I met. Look who I have. So, what can I say? It sounds like a broken record every time I have a microphone in my hand, but I have to keep saying the same thing. In order for us to be a great city and to be a better city, we need to work on culture. We need to work more on entertainment. We have a city that has grown exponentially, amazingly, so beautiful. Thank like the people that the code people that work so well, our managers, our commissioners, our mayors have worked to create the city that we have today. But, and people have to understand it also. We are a very young city. We are, 128, 127 years old. And we're not trying to copy anybody, but we can emulate the greatest cities in the world, like Paris, like London, like New York, when it comes to culture and art. We need to get involved. Why? Because we need our tourists to keep coming. And, beaches and clubs and restaurants are great, of course, but in order for the people to keep coming and the people that we want to come to spend good time here and buy apartments here and help us grow with the city are the cultural people. They follow a cultural program. we have an amazing city which is secure. It gives us great restaurants, like I said, it gives us great entertainment. But when it comes to culture, we have to keep improving. And that's all I'm trying to do. And like our dear mayor says, I'm trying to be, to promote our city because it's a great city. I have to thank my wife more than anybody that without her, it would have been impossible for me to be 5% of what I am. My kids, they are my blessing. They know everything I do is for them. And again, please involve your children in culture. It's very important. When we involve our children in culture, they are more responsible. They are more aware of their environment. They're more aware of their city. They are better people. Culture will save us, I promise you. It saved me. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. It's been long overdue for the city of Miami to honor Gary Nader for the humongous amount of work that he has done for our community, for our residents. This is a man that's one of the main pillars of cultural, of art in our community. And he's done it not with government money. He's done it with his own money. And that's amazing because the days that we live in, you know how it is. He understands that to be a great city, you have to have great culture. You have to have great art. And this is what he's thrived for. I personally want to thank him for one thing in particular. Over at Maurice Beret Park, we opened, going now in 2 years this February, the Arts and Docks Walkway that has brought more tourists to see the artwork, all from our local painters, than just about anything else that we have in our community. Between us, we even bring more people than the Paris Museum next door. And we're going to reach the second year with a combination of over 750,000 people approximately that have come to see it. It's become known worldwide now. But Gary contributes something to that also. He allowed one of his relatives to paint one of the most beautiful dogs as one of the most photographed over sculptures in the park. So I wanted to thank you for that also. Your family, because without a great family, a pillar of a wife, we all know that we can't go too far, even though we pretend we could. But Gary, God bless you, your children, your wife, and we hope that God gives you a lot of life so you can keep giving to Miami like you have. Thank you.
Good to finally meet you guys. We got to do dinner with the family. Mi esposa, tenemos que ir a cenar con ellos. Claro, ¿ok? Pero tienes que traer tus hijos que son tan bellos. Yo nunca los había conocido. Es increíble. Finally, I just want to have one point of privilege. And I think it's very fitting that we're talking about culture. And culture, in the case of Gary, has been focused a lot on art. In the case of Commissioner Carollo, it's been entertainment. And I think that is a part of our culture that we also want to continue to emphasize. And I said this in my State of the City, where I talked about how proud I was to see the New Year's Eve event and the fountain, which had been out of operation for multiple decades. 21 and I wanted to give him a proclamation today to commend him for that work, but he refused. He did not want to accept it, and I just wanted to take a minute to just emphasize, since we're talking about culture, that entertainment is part of our culture. What that event became, and it got bigger and bigger and bigger, I think, as more stars saw how successful it was, they wanted to be a part of it, and that's what I saw. And then, of course, the fountain, for me, was like, there was these watershed moments in my, in these 8 years, and one of them was coming off of the expressway out of the airport and seeing the stadium go vertical. And then the other one was seeing that fountain working after 20 double decades. So congratulations, Commissioner. Thank you so much for all your effort. We found the money and you executed. Thank you so much for that. Appreciate it. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Thank you again. And congratulations again to all of our recipients that we acknowledge today. At this time, I'm going to invite Pastor Covington of Gamble Memorial Church of God in Christ to join us in prayer.
Let us pray. Eternal God, our Heavenly Father, Lord God, we thank you for this day and opportunity to have life. We thank you, Father God, for the gathering of these city officials, leaders, all of these individuals who have come together for the betterment of our residents here in this great city of Miami. Father God, we ask you as we go into this session to be with each leader and official, Lord. Guide them, Father God, for our betterment, Lord God. Bless us, Father God, in this year and all that we do. Lord God, that we are successful in every endeavor to improve the lives of the citizens, not only of this city, but this great state, Lord. We pray, Father God, that you remember those that are without. We pray for the healing of those that are in need. We ask you, Father, this prayer and these blessings. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Thank you, Pastor. At this time, I'll recite the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Mr. City Attorney, would you please read your statement for the record?
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. George Wysong, City Attorney, City of Miami. Detailed information about the processes, order of business, rules of procedure, and scheduling or rescheduling of City Commission meetings can be found in Chapter 2, Article 2 of the City Code, a copy of which is available online at www.municode.com. Any person who is a lobbyist pursuant to Chapter 2, Article 6 of the City Code must register with the City Clerk and comply with the related city requirements for lobbyists before appearing before the City Commission. A person may not lobby a city official, board member, or staff member until registering. A copy of the code section about lobbyists is available in the City Clerk's office or online at www.municode.com. Any person making a presentation, formal request, or petition to the City Commission concerning real property must make the disclosures required by the City Code in writing. A copy of this City Code section is available at the office of the City Clerk or online at www.municode.com. The City of Miami requires that anyone requesting action by the City Commission must disclose before the hearing any consideration provided or committed to anyone for agreement to support or withhold objection to the requested action pursuant to City Code Section 2-8. Any document offered to the City Commission that have not been provided 7 days before the meeting as part of the agenda materials will be entered into the record at the City Commission's discretion. In accordance with Section 2-33F and G of the City Code, the agenda and material for each item on the agenda is available during business hours at the City Clerk's office and online 24 hours a day at www.miamigov.com. The meeting of the City Miami Commission is a limited public forum. Any person may be heard by the City Commission through the chair for not more than 2 minutes on any proposition before the City Commission unless modified by the chair. Public comment will begin at approximately 10:15 and remain open until public comment is closed by the chairperson. Any person making offensive remarks or who becomes unruly in the commission chambers will be barred from further attending City Commission meetings and may be subject to arrest. No clapping, applauding, heckling, or verbal outbursts in support or opposition to a speaker or his or her remarks shall be permitted. No signs or placards shall be allowed in the commission chambers. Persons exiting the commission chambers shall do so quietly. Members of the public wishing to address the body may do so by submitting written comments via the online comment form. Please visit www.miamigov.com/meeting instructions for detailed instructions on how to provide public comment using the online public comment form. The comments submitted through the comment form have been and will be distributed to the elected officials, their staff, and city administration throughout the day so that the elected officials may consider the comments prior to taking any action. Additionally, the online comment form will remain open during the meeting to accept comments and distribute to the elected officials, their staff, and the city administration up until the chairperson closes public comment. Public comment may be also provided here live at City Hall at 3500 Pan American Drive, Miami, Florida, subject to any and all city rules as they may be amended. If the proposition is being continued or rescheduled, the opportunity to be heard may be at such later date before the City Commission takes action on such proposition. When addressing the City Commission, the member of the public must first state their name, their address, and what item will be spoken about. Any person with a disability requiring assistance, auxiliary aids, and services for this meeting may notify the City Clerk. The City has provided different public comment methods to indicate, among other things, the public support, opposition, or neutrality on the items and topics to be discussed at the City Commission meeting in compliance with Section 286.0114 4C Florida statutes. The public has been given the opportunity to provide public comment during the meeting and within reasonable proximity and time before the meeting. Please note, commissioners have generally been briefed by city staff and the city attorney's office on items on the agenda today. Anyone wishing a verbatim record of an item considered at this meeting may request it at the Office of Communications or view it online at www.miamigov.com. Planning and zoning items shall proceed according to Section 7.1.4 of the Miami 21 zoning ordinance. Parties for any PZ items, including any applicant, appellant, appellee, city staff, and any person recognized by the decision-making body as a qualified intervener, as well as the applicant's representatives and any experts testifying on behalf of the applicant, appellant, or appellee, may be physically present at City Hall to be sworn in by oath or affirmation by the City Clerk. The members of the City Commission shall disclose any ex parte communications to remove the presumption of prejudice pursuant to Florida Statute Section 286.0115 and Section 7.1.4.5 of the Miami 21 zoning ordinance. The order of presentation shall be as set forth in Miami 21 and in the City Code. Staff will briefly present each item to be heard. The applicant will present its application or request to the City Commission. If the applicant agrees with the staff recommendation, the City Commission may proceed to its deliberation and decision. The applicant may also waive the right to an evidentiary hearing on the record. For appeals, the appellant will present its appeal to the City Commission, followed by the appellee. Staff will be allowed to make any recommendation they may have. Please silence all cell phones and other noise-making devices. Access to the meeting. This meeting can be viewed live on Miami TV, the city's Facebook page, the city's Twitter page, the city's YouTube channel, and Comcast Channel 77. This broadcast will also have closed captioning. Pursuant to advisory legal opinion, AGO 2020-03, issued on March 19, 2020, the Florida Attorney General opined that, consistent with prior Attorney General opinions, a member of a local government body who is physically unable to attend a meeting because of medical treatment or due to medical reasons may participate and vote in meetings where a quorum of the other members is physically present. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Mr. City Attorney. Mr. City Clerk, would you please read your statement for the record?
Thank you, Chair. The procedures for individuals will be providing testimony to be sworn in for planning and zoning items and any quasi-judicial items on today's City Commission agenda will be as follows. The members of city staff or any other individuals required to be sworn in who are currently present at City Hall will be sworn in by me, the City Clerk, immediately after I finish explaining these procedures. Those individuals who are appearing remotely may be sworn in now or at any time prior to the individual providing testimony for planning and zoning items and or quasi-judicial items. Commissioners, are you comfortable with all the notice provisions set forth in these uniform rules and procedures we have established for this meeting? And then, Chair,
yes.
May I administer the oath for the planning and zoning items?
Please.
Thank you, Chair. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. If we will be speaking on any of today's planning and zoning items, the PZ items, may I please have you stand and raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give at today's hearing is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? And your response is? Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Mr. City Manager, are there any items on the agenda that are slated to be deferred or withdrawn?
Good morning, Madam Chair. Commissioners, Mr. City Attorney, Mr. City Clerk, at this time, the administration would like to defer and or withdraw the following items. RE2,
to be deferred to February 27th. RE3 to be withdrawn. Sure. RE2 to be deferred to February 27th. RE3 to be withdrawn. RE7 to be deferred to February 27th. FR1 to be deferred to February 13th. FR2 to be deferred to February 13th. FR3 to be deferred to April 24th. FR6 to be deferred to February 27th. DI4 to be deferred to February 13th. PZ4 to be deferred to April 24th. And PZ5 to be deferred to February 13th. That concludes the items.
Thank you, Mr. City Manager. I'm going to ask my colleagues now if there are any items that they would like to have withdrawn and or deferred. Commissioner Reyes?
Yes, I want to know which one were the PCs that we are deferring.
Mr. Manager, the PZs, it was 4 and 5?
Yeah, I've just been notified of an additional 2. So PZ1 and PZ2, those are going to be added as indefinite deferrals. And then PZ4 to April 24th and PZ5 to February 13th. Those are the 4 PZ items.
1, 2, 4, and 5.
Correct.
Chairman King, excuse me for interjecting. There are people in the audience that would like to comment on the deferral of FR3. I hope you will afford us that opportunity.
No, we are.
Chair, we just need the speaker's name for the record. Your name for the record, sir?
Stephen Leitner.
Mr. Leitner, no, we are not going to take up any items that are going to be withdrawn or deferred. When the item comes back before us, everyone will have an opportunity to be heard on that item. Thank you.
Thank you for your consideration.
Thank you. Again, Commissioner Reyes, do you have any items that you would like? Commissioner Coroyo, are there any items that you would like to defer? Commissioner Reyes doesn't have any.
Chairman, thank you. There might be one that I might ask to defer in the afternoon, depending on the time that we have. I would like to ask the chair to take up DI5 before we take up DI3, and that it would definitely be in the afternoon, which I'm pretty certain it will be in the afternoon regardless, but I want to make sure that it is.
Okay.
DI5 before we take up DI3.
Okay. Commissioner Gabella, do you have any items that
Yeah.
you would like to have withdrawn or deferred?
Yes, I do. RE6.
All right.
RE6.
RE6.
You want to defer it or withdraw it?
Defer it.
Until
Next commission meeting.
February 27th.
Yep.
February 13th.
13th.
Oh, I'm
That
sorry.
would be the
Yes.
13th.
February 13th?
Yes.
Okay. And I do not have any. So may I have a motion to set the agenda?
Move.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
The agenda.
Oh, and sorry, Chair, before we move away from the order of the day, I need to make a couple of statements. The first being, please note that districts impacted on RE4 should read all and not D4. Additionally, Commissioner Pardo will be co-sponsoring RE11 and Commissioner King will be co-sponsoring RE9. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
The agenda. The agenda has now been set. And at this time, we will open the floor for public comments.
Madam Chair, Commissioner Pardo is, I believe,
logged into Zoom, but we're trying to get him patched into the meeting live. So,
Okay.
Mr. Pardo, are you there now?
I am here.
Okay.
Thank
I just
you.
wanted to make sure he was.
If I may, Madam Chair, I also would like to be included as a sponsor of RE9 as yourself and the mayor.
Noted.
Thank you.
I just, before I make my public comment, you made a statement right now, and I just want to alert you of something. Florida State law, Chapter 286, Section 0114, public meetings, reasonable opportunity to be heard, is the law that allows us to speak on deferrals, as so long as we speak about the deferral. It is an action of this commission by acting on the deferral, and so we are allowed to speak on the deferral by law.
Mr. City Attorney?
The statute also indicates that the right to speak will be at any meeting when the item is continued, and the chair has the discretion to control the meeting due to the size of the meeting. She, I guess in her discretion, has determined that it would be more efficient to have that public comment made at the meeting when the item is considered.
I do plan to keep my comments within the 2-minute requirement.
But we are not taking up any items that have been deferred from this agenda. You will have an opportunity to be heard when the item comes back. But we're not taking any comments on items that have been deferred.
So you're not allowing us the right to speak on deferrals?
No, I am not. You will have a right to speak on any item that has been deferred when the item is brought back before this commission.
There's no way for me to challenge that?
You just did, and the city attorney responded to you. So thank you. If you would like to speak on anything else, you're welcome to.
I will. I'd love to chat now. Okay, so good morning, commissioners, staff, city officials, and general public. My name is Albert Gomez, resident of District 2. Through the chair, I'm here to speak on the deferral, but I won't. I'm also here to speak on FR1 and FR6. FR1 loosens language as
FR1 has been deferred.
Okay, so I guess we can't speak on
And
that.
FR6 has been deferred as well.
Okay, so thank you. I came here to speak on pertinent issues, but I'm not allowed to speak on pertinent issues. I had a very detailed, constructive conversation to have with you about issues that are on the agenda, and they are now deferred.
I look forward to having that conversation with you when the items come back.
I'll
Thank
make
you.
sure to take work off again to do that.
Thank you. Good morning.
In other words, if you want to talk to FR3, I can talk anything?
FR3 has been deferred, sir.
Say it again?
FR3 has been deferred until April 24th.
Yeah, but I can say anything today? Nothing?
On any item that has not been deferred. So that item has been deferred.
So I come down here to talking about, and then you taking my right to say anything because you defer. That's not right.
Sir, I did
My
not.
right is my right.
Sir, I did not.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you for coming.
Can I have the speaker's name, sir? Your name for the record?
My name is Luis Herrera, President of Vizcaya Romone Association. I represent the road, and that's why I try to straighten it out, everything. The same way that when it coming early in the morning over here at 9 o'clock, whatever we said over here in the morning, when the time come to see the area, you never remember what I said right here. So this has got to be changed, like before. When the item come in, everybody talk. Thank you.
Good morning.
Good morning, Commissioners. Elvis Cruz, I was going to talk on FR1, but that's been deferred. So let me go down to PZ6, which is changes to T3 neighborhoods. You all have T3s in your district. There's some problems with PZ6. It talks about porches and porticos and how they can extend into the front setback. However, there is no limit as to how wide a porch or portico can be. so they can essentially become a de facto new front facade. I recommend that they not be allowed to be more than 20% of the facade width. Balconies would be allowed to extend 2.5 feet into a 5-foot side setback. That's simply too much. And lastly, but most importantly, before Miami 21, a 5-story R3 building had a 50-foot height limit. After Miami 21, they're allowed to be 81 feet tall. Many of my fellow civic activists who were part of the Miami 21 legislative process objected to that. We said those were simply too tall to be amongst our outlying neighborhoods. And we were told that those supersized floor heights would only happen in downtown. That never got codified. Please make it so. Lastly, I do want to mention that it's very inconvenient for the public to show up for an agenda item and then the rug is pulled out from under our feet when it gets deferred. I would ask that there be more consideration for the public and time. People take time out from work to come here. So that consideration would be very well received. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Cabela?
Elvis, I'd just like to, Elvis, you know, on the tree ordinance, I held the first meeting and I was with all you guys for 3 hours and I let all you guys speak however long you wanted. Okay, and then on your recommendation, on others' recommendation, they wanted more time for this issue so both sides can be heard and so both sides can do their calculations and then have a meeting. And that's why this was deferred. I'm not trying to pull a fast one on any of you, and I don't think any of my colleagues are. Simply, you guys asked for a deferral. You guys asked for a deferral, and that's what we did. Now you're complaining about the deferral. So I don't understand because this was made public very clearly. So that's all I have to say. Thank you very much.
Thank you for that response, Commissioner. Much appreciated. But it would be good if we were told before the meeting that it's officially deferred rather than have people take time out.
We did this before the meeting. That was the whole point. You guys asked me that you needed more time to not go forward and ram this through. And so I am doing that. You know, but now you're not happy by me doing that. So I just want to clear it up.
Thank you.
That this was said. So I apologize that a lot of you came down, and I understand it's your time. But this was clearly, you know, advertised before, and we said it before. I'm not trying to pull a fast one on you, and neither of my colleagues, I think so. You know, I need to clear that up. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I wasn't speaking specifically to FR3. Your point is very well taken. If it was broadcast in advance, that it was going to be deferred. But for example, FR1 and many other items, we're not told in advance are going to be deferred, and we come down. Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Mayor, Madam Chairwoman, Commissioners, Mr. City Manager, and Ms. Assistant City Manager, and the rest of the hardworking staff at the City of Miami. My name is Natalia Zea. I'm with the Children's Trust. Address is 3150 Southwest 3rd Avenue in Miami. On behalf of the Children's Trust Board Chair Ken Hoffman, our Board of Directors, and President and CEO James Hodge, I'm here on behalf of the Children's Trust as one partner in the collaborative group that makes up Zero Drownings Miami-Dade. That is a collaborative group of anchor institutions and funders that are committed to ending child drowning in this community. Many partners are here in the room present, including the two who would like to speak behind me, and others if they'd like to just wave their hands. This is a really critical item for all of us, and we thank you for your unanimous sponsorship of Resolution 9, which authorizes the City of Miami Parks Department to join our collaborative and be part of our collective mission to end child drownings. This item authorizes the City Parks Department to join the collaborative as a swim lesson provider, ensuring children in the City of Miami have even more opportunities for free swim lessons close to their schools as part of this program. Zero Drownings Miami-Dade provides 4- and 5-year-olds with 10 free group swim lessons at pools across the county as a field trip during their school day. With the coordination, transportation, and lessons funded through the Children's Trust, Miami-Dade County, United Way Miami, American Red Cross, Edu Foundation, and Templeton Family Foundation. Once we reach scale in the 26-27 school year, our intent is to reach 20,000 kids a year with this program. Thank you again for your support.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning, Madam Chair, Mr. Co-Chair, City Commissioners. Happy New Year. My name is Terrell Fritz, 111 East Flagler Street, and Executive Director of the Flagler District BID. I'm here to speak on FR4, the proposed special events legislation. Back in 2017, the commercial property owners of the Flagler District worked tirelessly to create the Flagler Specialty District, which was unanimously approved by the City Commission. Since then, the district has just begun the transformation into a vibrant, family-friendly destination, hosting events recently like the weekly Julianne Henry's Flagler Market, the DDA Holiday Lighting event, and Miami Art Week in December. These events alone have brought tens of thousands of visitors to Flagler in recent months. On behalf of the Flagler District Board, we commend the Commission and City staff for working to simplify the special events permitting process. We understand that there is substitute language in front of you today, restoring the current 10 events per organization per year cap, rather than the initially proposed in December, 4 events per location. This change should help us continue to have frequent activations that sustain the vibrancy of the Flagler District. We urge the Commission to adopt this legislation, recognizing the critical role that special events play in the revitalization of Miami's original downtown commercial district. Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning. I'm here also speaking in favor of resolution number 9, the importance of drowning prevention in our community. I want to thank the mayor and the city commissioners for bringing up this resolution. My name is Jim O'Connor. I am the chief of the Office of Drowning in Miami-Dade County. I'm here on behalf of the mayor and the county board of commission who wholeheartedly support the Zero Drowning program. You may not know this, but in Miami-Dade County, the leading cause of death, accidental death for children's ages 1 to 9 is drowning. We need to do something about it. Swim lessons are one of the key ways that we can change that, and our goal is to have 0 drownings in the community. Unfortunately, 80% of the children who drown do not know how to swim. And this issue is all about coming together as a team, both from the county and the city and other municipalities across the county, to teach children how to swim so no child in Miami-Dade County drowns. Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning. My name is Beatrice Gonzalez, Director of the Lotus House Women's Shelter, located at 217 Northwest 15th Street, 33136. I'm here to speak in support of PH 5 and RE 11. On behalf of the over 525 women and children we shelter nightly, we'd like to thank the city, Chairwoman King, commissioners for your ongoing support and extended support as you consider PH 5 for our continued partnership, so that women and children in our community do not go without safe shelter, supportive services, and they're given the opportunity to exit the shelter system completely and lead lives of greater opportunity. Thank you so very much.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for this opportunity. My name is Debbie Koch. I'm the Executive Director of the American Red Cross at 335 Southwest 27th Avenue, Miami 33135. Over a century ago, the American Red Cross created the first national program for water safety in the United States. And since then, we've helped millions of children and adults learn how to swim, become lifeguards, and become swim instructors, so that the water is a safer place for everyone. We are very proud to be part of Zero Drownings Miami-Dade, where our mission is to reduce the risk of drowning by helping children develop essential water competency skills and educate their families on water safety. The Red Cross is serving as the lead for education materials and swim safety certifications for students, families, educators, and participating water safety instructors. We are also a funder of this important program. We believe that helping children build confidence in water is a skill for life. And with our community surrounded by water, every family should be able to enjoy this natural asset without fear. Zero Drownings envisions a community, a Miami, where children from all neighborhoods, cultural, and socioeconomic backgrounds learn essential drowning prevention techniques that make them safer, and inspire respect for water, which is such a vital part of our community. We are deeply grateful to the City of Miami and to this commission for helping us promote water safety and for your support of this initiative. Thank you.
Thank you. Good
Morning, Chairman King. Thank you very much. Horacio Stewart Aguirre, Chairman of the Miami River Commission, offices at 1407 Northwest 7th Street. I'm here to speak on DI number 2, and this is funding for the Miami Police Marine Patrol. The City of Miami has literally hundreds and hundreds of miles of waterfront property under our auspices. We owe so much to so few who do tremendous work almost around the clock. They are woefully, inadequately underfunded, under-equipped. Right now, we have a mild crisis on the Miami River and on Biscayne Bay. You know it, Commissioner Carollo. You've been supporting us. Commissioner Gabella serves on our board as well. And that is, we have almost near lawlessness on the water today, in great part by illegal chartering operations that are operating recklessly, carelessly, and imperiling the lives of people on the water and on the shoreline. We strongly support all the funding that you can find for the Miami Marine Patrol and the City of Miami Police Department. Thank you.
Thank you.
30 seconds.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I have committed that if for any reason we cannot find the funding within the budget to put another Marine Patrol unit out there, I will fund it from my own district office until we come to the next fiscal year's budget. This is priority. What's going on there is shameful. It's a free-for-all. It's like the Wild, Wild West. And we need a Marine Patrol in the beginning of the river when they come so that they see that there's law and order. And in fact, the other one that we have farther down the river should still stay because it's a very long river, a very active river, as you know.
Absolutely. Thank you, Vice Chair. Very grateful to you for that support and to all the others. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning, Sandy Moise, 5910 Northeast 6th Court, Morningside, Florida. First, I'd like to speak on RE9 for the water safety. I strongly support this item. It's extremely important. We've had many drownings in our community. In fact, I almost lost my 18-month-old many years ago from a drowning in the backyard pool, and I was right next to the pool, and it was my 3-year-old daughter that I had already had her go through swimming lessons and learned how to swim that pulled him out and saved his life. So it's critical that all children, and the younger, the better. Secondly, I'm also here to speak on, is it DE1, the discussion item for Marine Patrol, and I strongly urge you to please expand this beyond the Miami River to all of Biscayne Bay where the city operates. It's the wild, wild west out there. And my first research was for the rookery on Mangrove Island because we would see jet skiers literally chasing like they're hunting and striking our wading birds. And through that research, I discovered we've had numerous deaths, human deaths, out on Biscayne Bay in our waterways. So I urge you to please support funding for all Marine Patrol. Your Marine Patrol works very hard, but they're underfunded and they are not able to patrol, have dedicated active patrol. When I visit the bay every single day to monitor what goes on in the bay, Biscayne Bay is an aquatic preserve. We should have rules enforced there. And finally, I came down to also speak on FR1, FR3, and FR6. Unfortunately, all three were deferred, and I do concur with the previous speakers. We took off from work to be here today, so it's extremely disrespectful to defer. Commissioner Gabella, I know that you announced that you were going to defer, but last month we were told that FR1 would be deferred, and at last month's meeting we didn't plan on speaking on it, and suddenly it wasn't deferred. So, and finally, we didn't request FR3 to be deferred. We requested repeatedly for it to be withdrawn. And just one final question, please. I've sent multiple emails to every commissioner, made multiple phone calls. I know many people have. Not one response, not one email response, not one phone call. So if we're supposed to work together as a community and discuss this and work out, we can't do it if we're not responding to constituents. So let's please be respectful to the constituents. And thank you, Commissioner Croyle, for supporting Marine Patrol. That's super important.
Let me
Thank
say,
you.
ma'am, that one death for drowning is one too many.
Absolutely. Thank you.
And I actually read all of your emails. I think I've responded to a couple of them, but I also, if I don't directly respond back, I do forward it to staff and ask for a follow-up and a report. And I'd seen you on, I was sick for the special meeting, and I saw you and I said, oh, and put a face to the name because I do read
Thank
all
you,
of your
Commissioner
emails.
King. I apologize. You are the only commissioner that your chief of staff actually did respond on the tree, because I know I've sent you many emails over the year, over the Rookery, the Bay.
Yes.
So thank you. I do appreciate your chief of staff did
And thank
follow
you for
up.
your advocacy on the Bay and everything else.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning.
Good morning, commissioners, especially our Commissioner Damian Pardo joining us virtually. My name is Grady Moore. I'm a resident of Bay Lofts condo at 455 Northeast 25th Street, directly facing a proposed 9-story hotel, the first of its kind, next door. I'm here to introduce some of my neighbors also who are eager to speak to you. Together we represent many more residents who could not be here today because it is a Thursday and they had to work. But many have left public comments. In short, we are not here to oppose responsible development, but we do have serious concerns about putting a hotel on our street. We have traffic concerns, we have parking concerns, we have tourist concerns. A hotel would undoubtedly change the character of our neighborhood. Some weeks will certainly attract loud groups, not just business travelers, as the developer has argued. If you think about Miami Music Week and Spring Break, for example, we have residents from all stages of life at Bay Lofts. And we do want some degree of normalcy and peace and quiet in our neighborhood. We have trash concerns on a street that does have a lot of litter already. And we definitely have setback concerns. We feel the 0 setback distance from our building is very inappropriate and very inconsiderate. Our building, after all, is set back 5 feet, and we would expect the same from our neighbors. It doesn't seem like a lot to ask, especially considering the proximity to 18 of our east-facing balconies. We're asking for you to consider whether a hotel is even appropriate for this neighborhood. We don't think it is. We're asking you to talk about the setbacks. Also consider binding the recommendation by the PZAB to dedicate, to work with the MPA to dedicate designated rideshare and delivery loading zone pickup and drop off. We want to make sure it's actually implemented. And finally, the impact fees. Why not use the over $400,000 in potential impact fees to directly benefit our street, to enhance stormwater management, to help with the flooding and drainage issues, to install public trash bins on 25th Street, to exert influence or even directly partner with FPL to provide infrastructure upgrades, much needed, and to do a $25,000 per property for landscaping and beautification to the 4 directly adjacent lots to preserve or at least enhance some of the natural environment that will be lost.
Thank you.
Thank you. We're looking for a community win.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning. My name is Dr. Jeffrey Dorfman. I am treasurer and on the board of directors of Biscayne Neighborhoods Association. I speak in favor of RE6 and DI3. I am here representing 16,000 Miami residents who are our members who don't like what is happening in Miami City Hall. So please don't tell the media that only a few people attend commission meetings to complain. Former United States Senator Bob Menendez, age 71, is a Cuban-American who was the most powerful Cuban-American politician in the United States for nearly 40 years. He was a mayor, U.S. congressman, and U.S. senator. Next week, Mr. Menendez will be sentenced to prison after being convicted on all 16 counts, including bribery and extortion, for what the prosecutors say what were years of selling his office to the highest bidder that have finally come to end. Prosecutors are seeking 15 years in prison. Yesterday, I read the latest lawsuit filed against Mr. Joe Carollo. It is filed under Florida's whistleblower laws
Sir, what agenda item are you speaking on?
I am speaking on RE6 and DI3.
DI3.
Yes.
RE6 has been deferred.
Okay. So, what are whistleblower laws? Everyone in this room and all city employees and vendors should visit www.irs.gov/whistleblower. The IRS whistleblower office pays 15 to 30% of the money recovered to people who report it. On a $10 million recovery, for example, someone could actually receive $1.5 to $3 million from the IRS.
Thank you.
Let me finish.
Thank
I
you,
ask that we stop paying.
Sir, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, I do have to address this because this is way beyond me. And if he would have used another example with another ethnic or racial group, people would have been screaming. But it's okay that the only example that he brings up of corruption and of someone that's been convicted, not from Miami, but from the state of New Jersey, it's a Cuban American that he wants to bring out. So what is this man trying to say? That all Cuban Americans are corrupt? That he doesn't like Cuban Americans? I know that he has moved to Miami recently, just a few years back from the Northeast. This is the kind of racism, the kind of hate that this community does not need. If he's part of the little army that Commissioner Damian Pardo has, and they met yesterday to organize
Commissioner.
which of them can come and attack me, that's fine.
Commissioner.
But he should not include a whole group of people. Why didn't he bring up another example of anybody else?
Good morning.
By the way, sir, nothing to do with you personally, but I also take offense. I'm a Cuban American, and I take offense to that, by the way, because you shouldn't have mentioned whether he was a Cuban American. You can mention the name. It's happened on both sides of the aisle. I'm Republican, okay, and he's a Democrat, but it's not that. It's the way you're doing it. It's like if I were to speak something of another ethnic group, I don't know what your ethnic background is, but that is not correct. You're offending me as a Cuban American. With all due respect.
My intention, Commissioner, with all due respect, was not to offend. If I was allowed to finish, I was actually speaking on behalf of Cuban Americans who are tax-paying citizens
But
here.
that's not speaking on behalf of Cuban Americans.
I wasn't allowed to finish what I had to
Okay,
say.
well,
Because my
thank you.
intention
Thank you.
and my actual words
you.
had nothing to do to disparage Cuban Americans, many of whom are my friends. I am speaking in favor of Cuban Americans and all Americans who
Sir,
live in
thank
the
you.
city
Sir,
who pay
thank
taxes
you.
and are tired
Sir,
of
thank you.
theft
Thank
of their
you,
money.
sir. Thank you. If we could keep our comments to the allocated 2 minutes, I'm not asking for anything that's new. This is the rules of the City Commission. It has been. Please keep your comments to 2 minutes. I don't get any pleasure in saying thank you. I'm trying to be fair to everyone. And I'm not even clear what that diatribe was and how it related to the agenda item he claimed, but I let him go on. So, because I'm trying to give everyone breath in having their public comments. So, thank you. And let's continue to, oh gosh. Ma'am, good morning.
Good morning. My name is Paloma Dueñas. I am here representing the residents at Bayloft Condos in 455 Northeast 25th Street. And I just want to express the concerns as a tax-paying resident of how the overdevelopment of that area is affecting us. I don't think I need to ask anybody in this room about traffic in the area and how that affects us all, and approving of hotels in our residential area will be affecting all of that too, without the appropriate infrastructure being addressed beforehand, like parking, like, again, traffic, and how that area will be at least relieved in that end, as long as there's these really tall buildings and really overdeveloped spaces. The quality of our lives is getting affected. The noise, pollution, constant 24/7 beeping, and just overall unacceptable regulations and so on. So thank you so much for your consideration.
Hold on for a minute, Chair. Can I ask you how many rooms this hotel is going to be building? The second time I've heard someone bring it up today.
Yes, it's 68? 61 apartments.
That's a lot.
So
it's not a little hotel. It's a mid-sized hotel.
thank you.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning. Katrina Morris, 4130 Liebeyer Avenue, Coconut Grove, Florida. I am going to enlighten the commission on how it feels to be a resident when something comes up, even if we're told it's going to be deferred. Okay? That deferral still has to be voted on.
Which item are you?
FR3. So here's my suggestion. If you know that something is going to draw hundreds of people to come and speak and take up time and do all of this, maybe it's not ready to be an agenda item. Maybe it needs more work. Maybe you need to talk to the community. Maybe you need to do charrettes. We did charrettes. I cannot tell you how many charrettes we did
Ma'am, what item are you speaking on?
I'm not going to be allowed to speak. So thank you very much for not allowing me to speak.
Thank you. Thank you.
I am not.
Morning.
Good morning. My name is Maritza Pena, and I am a resident at 455 Northeast 25th Street, Baylofts, and I'm here also speaking on the 10-story hotel that's going on right next to us. My concerns are the same as my neighbors. I echo them. Basically, the parking situation on Northeast 25th Street is ridiculous. Currently, when I had people over for my Christmas Eve dinner, I had to park on the street so that they could use my parking spot, and I had to basically move the car early in the morning in order to find parking. These are issues that continue to impact us. The same thing with the trash. There's also a lot of speeders in the area, so I would request that if you use some of those impact fees, maybe to create speed bumps on Northeast 25th Street to reduce the traffic in the area. And I also have a request. My background is in architecture and design. I've worked in the field for the past 25 years, and I think that zoning has a very important place when considering projects and whether they enhance the existing neighborhood or your urban fabric or whether they don't. And I think that this board, this commission, should look at each project and see if it's going to add value to the neighborhood or if it's going to be reducing or adding a burden to the neighborhood. There's a current crisis right now with condo owners. We're being asked to fully fund reserves after the Surfside collapse. And I think most unit owners agree that we go ahead and we do that because we protect our investment. And I think it's the responsibility of the zoning board to also protect our investment by respecting property lines and setbacks. And that's all. I just basically would like you guys to consider that when projects of this nature are coming across your desks. Edgewater continues to be over-densified, and something needs to be done to kind of minimize the burden in the area.
Sorry, this is PZ1. Which PZ is it? I'm sorry. Which item are you referring on?
It's PZ3.
PZ3. Okay, thank you. PZ3 and thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning, Chairwoman King.
May I defer my time to Grant?
No, we're not deferring any time.
Okay, so we're not deferring time. Okay, so I would like to use my time to speak about CA7, the Miami-Dade County Sheriff's Department, which is a new department, which is pretty much new for citizens throughout the city of Miami. Everybody may not be aware that we actually do have a sheriff in town for the first time in over 60 years. So if any citizen is having a problem with, say, developers on their property or the city itself or any other issue, they can actually call your sheriff's department, because your sheriff is a person that works for the people, not the politicians. They're completely different than a police department. It is very important that citizens know this. So I would hope that you guys would encourage people to utilize the sheriff's department whenever there is a major issue such as developers on their land. For instance, I have a developer occupying land that belongs to my condo association that the commissioners have not been able to get them off their self. So the sheriff's department is here to constitutionally help us regain our property, our civil liberties, and I hope that citizens will utilize that. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning. My name is Maximo Ulloa. I live in 455 Northeast 25th, again, next door to that new hotel. And my neighbors already touched on the main items that we're concerned about the neighborhood. I'm just going to talk about what is the impact that we, the people that face east, are going to have. Basically, when you see the design of the next door hotel, goes all the way to the property line. The property line is 5 foot from my windows. So basically, I'm going to have a full wall in front of my windows. My apartment only has 2 windows that face east. So basically, all the way to the 8th floor, even though the detail of the plans have some issues, because after 8 floors, based on Miami 21, you have to move back 30 feet. They're not doing that. So basically, well, right there we have a problem. But the fact is that we bought a property, and when you have a blind wall, normally what you have is blind wall to blind wall. You're not having a blind wall to windows. Basically, the reality is that we are losing the people that live in my side of the building. We're absolutely losing the value of our places. I'm moving from an apartment into a storage location. That's the reality. So on top of the other issues, from a personal point of view, this is a significant problem for me. So I would like the Commission to take a look to it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning.
Good morning. Grant Stern, 425 Northeast 22nd Street. I'm here to speak on RE 15, AM2, DI3, and DI5. I'm going to start with AM2. AM2 contains the item that is FR3, and it was deferred in AM2 per the minutes that you guys have approved. Procedurally speaking, there's no reason why we should not be allowed to speak about the procedure of deferral. And I just have this very simple comment. Items can be deferred later in meetings versus at the beginning of the meeting, and that will give people the ability to give public comment when they take their time off of work. And it's something to strongly consider when people who are on the board know that there are a lot of folks looking to give public comment on an item. I've personally experienced it in the past as well, and it's definitely something that upsets people when they take time off and cannot comment. But they certainly could comment on AM2 because it does contain the deferral of the item known as FR3 right now. Secondly, I wanted to speak about RE 15, which is the Omni Interlocal Agreement. I'm in favor of it. But this interlocal agreement speaks to the problem with CRAs as a vehicle for spending the city's money in our neighborhoods. We really need to create a comprehensive system of special districts utilizing Chapter 190 of the Florida statutes and the home rule powers of the Miami-Dade Commission. I've already spoken with certain Miami-Dade commissioners, and they are in favor of anything that doesn't take money out of the county's coffers to create special districts that allow us to better manage the city. And regarding DI3 and DI5, I think it's deeply unfortunate that we're stuck with a lame duck Commissioner Comunista here for another 11 months when he's out there spending our money unwisely, wasting it, frittering it away for his wife's company, frittering it away on veterinary services, frittering away our money,
hold
and
on.
he is somebody who has
Please-
never worked
please
a day in
allow
the
him to
private
finish
sector.
his comments.
Excuse me, I'm reclaiming my time from the commissioner. I'm reclaiming 30 seconds.
Please
Chairman,
allow him
I'm
to finish
reclaiming
his
my time.
statement, and then
claiming
you-
my wife
I
is
understand.
taking
I'm reclaiming my time,
You better
please.
prove it. Prove it. Where's
Okay.
the beef? Bring the proof.
Okay,
Commissioners-
you got the
Stop the
lawsuit.
lying.
Okay.
I will be following
Stop
that lawsuit.
the lying, sir.
You know what? I'm not
You
lying when I
show-
say you're a communist who has
you show-
never worked in the,
Sir,
the
sir,
private
That
sector.
my
Sir,
wife
you are
is taking
wasting
one
the
penny
city's
of
tax
anything.
dollars.
You lying son of a gun.
Sir,
Have a nice day, and I want to say this. Good to see you back, Commissioner Reyes. Thank you.
No, Chairman, this is outrageous. Just because they dislike me, they hate me, and they want to hurt me, you cannot allow for someone of this sort that's here every meeting doing the same thing to come and defame my wife without one iota of proof.
I would ask that we do not direct comments directly to any of the commissioners. Please keep your comments regarding the item that you are speaking on. Do not direct any of your comments directly to any one of us on the dais. Thank you. Ma'am, good morning.
Good morning. Claudia Roussel, 10 Museum Park, downtown. Happy New Year, City Commissioners. Speaking on the item DI3, DI5, and in general. A new year and a new lawsuit against the sitting commissioner. RE6, sponsored by Commissioner Capello, would come in
Ma'am?
handy right now.
Ma'am?
I'm done. I'm just having a sentence. I'm not going on with it. And very appreciated by the taxpayers. In the meantime, a bunch of high-paid lawyers funded by the taxpayers have a good start into 2025. Judging what is alleged and by whom, it already has and will continue making embarrassing headlines for the city and the other 4 commissioners. The most pressing question my community has relates to DI3. Who will replace Joe Carollo as chair of the Bayfront Park Trust? Given the newest developments and the history the downtown community has with the chair of the trust, Joe Carollo, it is high time for a change, and furthermore, was promised to us by the chair himself. Commissioner Pardo, you as our commissioner are expected to take up the cause for us. How about starting 2025 with some animal spirit and put a few wins into your column for a change? FR6, in my opinion, is not an ideal solution, also better than what we have now. As the saying goes, if everyone is in charge, no one really is. Putting Muff Park into the hands of Parks and Recreation, a good idea, because at least the downtown community will be assured of professional stewardship. Who knows, we might get from Park and Recreation what our community really asks for since many years, a playground for Miami's future taxpayers. In the meantime, Commissioner Carollo, I can report
Ma'am, thank you.
kiddies of all
Ma'am.
sizes use the
Ma'am,
gym
thank
as the
you.
playground instead.
Ma'am, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you for the extra 3 or less seconds.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning. My name is Noel Cleland, live at 5990 Southwest 50th Street. The emotions seem to be running a little high this morning, so I would suggest everybody just take a breath, relax. We're all here for the right reasons. I wanted to get into the public record something that's important to all of you, as well as the citizens of our state, and that's Florida Statute 403.706. I just wanted to make sure everybody's aware of this. This is Local Government Solid Waste Responsibilities. Section 2 sets ambitious goals for recycling, starting at 40% in 2012, increasing to 75% by the year 2020. We're nowhere near that number, and yet we're looking at trying to figure out how to reduce our existing recycling program. I think it's important to realize that whatever we decide to do as a city is going to be in violation of this existing mandate. And so we need to go back and reconsider how we're going to meet these goals and not how to reduce them. Thank you.
Good morning.
Good morning. Happy New Year, everyone. My name's Nicole Crooks, and I live in Overtown. And I stand here today to voice concern regarding our historic Overtown community. A community that has endured generations of decisions made without our consent.
Ma'am?
Yes.
What item are you speaking on?
SR1.
I see. Gotcha.
Yes. And so as a result, we see rapid development and displacement of historic families of Overtown with deep roots. We're being pushed out. And the role of this commission is to act in the will of the people and to serve as stewards of justice and equity for all who call Miami home. And so far too often these decisions are made not in alignment with the people, but with selfish ulterior motives. Now, the Overtown Community Oversight Board was one of these spaces that was developed so that the voice of the people would be heard. And the reality is the elimination of it is very concerning. You're here for the will of the people to act on behalf of the people. And the board is not a burden, it's a bridge between policy and people with lived experience. It also exists to make sure that there's transparency in the process, and far too often this is not happening. And our children are watching. As I've been at this meeting, I'm seeing just, it's beyond crazy. But our children are watching, we are watching, we are feeling the impacts of the decisions that you're making on our behalf without us, and we need to do something different. It's a new year, we have a clean slate, let's get it right. Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning, can you hear me? Okay, I'm here to talk about, my name is Claudia Domo. I'm representing Biscayne Beach Condominiums in Edgewater. And I'm here to talk about RE7. Oh, first of all, thank you so much for taking care of our homeless situation because it was unbearable. And I'm here to talk about RE7.
RE7 has been deferred, ma'am.
Oh, about the park?
Yeah, that has been deferred.
Oh, well, thank you. Oh, and Commissioner Damian Pardo, thank you so much for your work at Edgewater. Just one little thing, ducks, it's a big deal. We have to find a new home for them. They have no voice. And I've seen them been run over by people they don't pay attention. So if we can do something about it and have our streets clean, thank you.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning. Thanks for the opportunity. I'm speaking in regard to PZ3. My name is Mike Davis, and I've been living at Bay Lofts for 10 plus years. When I considered buying at Bay Lofts, I certainly didn't anticipate a commercial property / hotel would be proposed on a mostly residential street, first of its kind. Many of us are scratching our heads as the space looks like it appears to be best suited for a 2 to 3 story home. Many of us are scratching our heads wondering how a crane would even fit into such a small space. Which makes sense why a project like this is requiring a 50% parking reduction. On an already busy street with limited parking, we are anticipating a lot more congestion on the street, as well as safety concerns. I don't think any of us had mentioned that before. So we're considering upgrading our security system, as well as a security guard, which previously cost us $50K plus. It looks like, according to the site plans, no setbacks are proposed for that wall that's facing our balconies overlooking the bay. So we're going to have this monstrous wall, outside our balconies. I guess they could paint it green and call it the Green Monster, like Fenway Park. So we're also going to lose any sunlight that we get in the mornings. While I understand that views and sunlight aren't necessarily our right, it's very disappointing that there are no setbacks for the property, as we have a 5-foot setback at ours. So those are some of the concerns. I just hope that these things will be considered before the hotel is approved. Thank you.
Good morning.
Good morning, Madam Chair. Billy Corbin on DI3 and DI5. New year, same Miami Mafia. Yet another First Amendment retaliation case against our favorite serial defendant here. We now have credible allegations that, as suspected, the Bayfront Park Management Trust has been used and abused as a slush fund with no oversight by this administration or the commission. So more lawyers, more fees, you're all actually raising taxes again. It's the corruption tax that forces residents and business owners to pay to defend corruption. On DI3, of course you should not reappoint the current chair. Why are we still talking about this? How can you reappoint a guy who, according to this lawsuit, for 6 years allowed staff to collect tens of thousands of dollars a month in cash with no controls or accounting and stash it in a closet? How can you reappoint a guy who allegedly endangered park visitors by allowing unpermitted electrical work? How can you reappoint a guy who failed to account for large expenses, who apparently used trust money to support his own political office, used trust money to overpay his political allies, from which his wife allegedly got kickbacks, used trust money to buy a 15-year-old $30,000 van for $115,000 from some fly-by-night shell company as an emergency procurement, so there was no legally mandated competitive bidding process, and it's never been used. How can you reappoint a guy who may have been stockpiling controlled substances in a closet on city-owned property, and a man who has cost taxpayers over $20 million in attorney's fees that he must repay to the taxpayers because you were defending him in a personal capacity lawsuit? It is time to start taking your fiduciary responsibility to taxpayers seriously. If you fail to take action, you are just further endorsing his misconduct. Thank you and Happy New Year.
Thank you.
Madam
Good morning.
Chair, Madam Chair.
Grand Rising.
Madam Chair.
This is Bobby.
Madam Chair,
hold on a
excuse me,
second.
ma'am. I apologize. I have a right to answer back
If you would
now.
like to respond.
This individual who is sent here at every meeting to attack either me, he attacked you one time, and others. Your 2 minutes are up, Mr. Cohen. If you want to say anything else, you could go in your podcast like you do, in your Twitter account like you do.
Will you come on and be my guest on the podcast?
Attack me.
I'm inviting you onto the podcast.
Sir, your time is over. Now, the voice of corruption in Miami, this individual here, who has been paid.
By whom?
Those that have sued the city.
By whom? Who have I been paid by?
Chair, look, he had his 2 minutes.
Mr. Corbin, please.
Yes, ma'am.
You had your time for public comment. Please do not engage.
Chair, if he opens his mouth again, I request that he be taken out. He had his 2 minutes. He had all his other time and all the other outlets that he has that I don't have at my disposal. So now I'm going to answer him. This individual, as I said, who...
Mr. Corbin, would you please return to your seat?
I mean, he's referencing me. Can I not stand here? Or?
No. Go have a seat.
He's talking all about me, though.
You just finished talking all about him. Please have a seat.
He's on the agenda. I'm not on the agenda, Madam Chair.
Your 2 minutes were over.
Thank you, Chair. The voice of corruption of Miami,
Do I talk?
a timeshare baby, and we all know what timeshare was. That's what his family, his father, made his money in. That's what paid his way through life as a child. An individual that has been paid by those that have sued not just me, but the city and scores of other of our top administrators. But what he didn't mention is that this lawsuit that was filed, these two individuals that have been working for a short time for the Bayfront Park Trust are not paying the attorney. Why? Because the attorney that was provided to them for this lawsuit is none other than the same attorney that his friends that have been paying him throughout the years to attack me and to attack the city. That's their attorney. They're the ones that are taking care of this lawsuit so that they can sue, defame, lie, everything that is in that lawsuit and he brought up here in his own way. Could be more, and this afternoon we'll be dealing with it at the appropriate time with most of it. Can be more than shown to be lies. Now, here we have another individual that last year, not many months back, would go to court on behalf of his clients. And he would go up to my wife and scream at her that they're going to take your home away. You're going to Camilla's house. Ha, ha, ha. But that didn't quite happen. And it's not going to happen, as two federal judges have ruled already on what the law is. And I will tell you also what the law is. These characters that file this for the sole purpose of filling their pockets full of money, this is what they were told. If they go ahead and do this, we're going to get you a lot of money. They don't have a leg to stand on whistleblower. Maybe they could, one of them could whistle Dixie as he goes back to where he lives at in Georgia. He still had a Georgia driver's license while working here. But they have no case for a whistleblower. And they have no case for 1983 speech. So this will be thrown out of federal court shortly in the next few months. Bayfront Park Trust has insurance to protect the trust and his officers in attorney's fees on something of the sort. But this has all been orchestrated by the people that have been paying Mr. Cohen in conspiracy with these two individuals that sued, so that, first of all, they could do this today, but most of all, what they're after is they think that they're going to be able to pressure me enough that in another lawsuit that they have against the city, against me and numerous other top city officials, that I would cave in and say, okay, let's pay them millions of dollars so that they can leave me alone and they won't bother me anymore. That other lawsuit will soon be thrown out also on everybody that they sued, and they're not going to get me to approve one penny for them. I do not bow down to blackmail or extortion. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Ma'am, good morning.
Yeah, hi, this is Bobby George Ezra. I have three issues that I see. I arrived in Miami last year end, and I just want to bring it to your notice, which I feel is really crucial and needs to change. Riding by bus today, I see that the middle school children are taking paid public transportation to school, which I feel is against free education and safety of our children. This is one. And the second, and this is the low income area. The other issue that I see is there is a high discrimination between low income area and high income area. Because as a part of the city, we need to give the same love and care to all the people in the county, right? With the tax money. The high income and low income, they run together and cannot exist without each other. And the third issue is, as I walk along the beach, I see a lot of boards which say no smoking, and either 2 months in jail or fine. But the signboards under them have a lot of cigarette butts. So I feel maybe we don't have enough patrolling along the shoreline. And the signboard should read only 2 months in jail, no fines. I hope these 3 points can be addressed.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning, Chairwoman. James Torres with the DNA, Downtown Neighbors Alliance. We'd like to address FR5. That is the proposed changes to Section 36 on the noise ordinance. Back in November, the DNA sent every commissioner a letter as it relates to that particular ordinance that is prompting a change. We do support District 2 on that, the commissioner. However, we did find a loophole that should be closed on this, and that is to prevent from anything happening in terms of an administrative sign-off. It should be included that it should come back to commission. Any event should come here to commission and not be done at an administrative level in terms of waivers. And that's the problem that we're having on this. We've asked several questions and it doesn't exist in the code. It is something that the administration has. So with the changes on 36, that should be included and encompassed where it comes to commission instead of anything being signed off on. The other issue that we do want to talk about is the homeless trust issue, RE11. We do fully support that. We're hoping that the rest of the commissioners support that as well, because as we know, especially in your area, Gavelas and parts of downtown, we have a major issue that we think these additional funds should be able to help the homeless trust to get things done. So hopefully you guys can come unanimously in taking care of that, which also cascades to something else, is DI2, the Marine Patrol scenario. For several years, the DNA has been campaigning and talking about this issue in terms of having the proper allocation of funding to have additional Marine patrols on there. Hopefully all you guys unanimously can support this issue. Thank you very much. Save the trees.
Thank you.
Good morning, Chairwoman and Commissioners. Thank you for allowing me to address you today in this wonderful hall. My name is Chaplain Stanley Young, Freedom Prison and Jail Ministry, 500 Northwest 2nd Avenue. I want to speak on RE11 and PH5. I hope you consider passing these. You know it's cold outside. We all know it's cold outside, but once you're laying in your wonderful bed, think about those who don't have a bed or even a place to warm up. I spoke to a gentleman just last night who was 7 decades he lived in this wonderful city, who's found himself homeless and didn't have no place to go or no place to keep warm. So I want to thank you. I'm here to really thank you, praise you for hopefully passing these two agendas that is on your desk today that will help someone like us who can get into a bed, who can keep warm and keep safe. I just want to keep it short and sweet that you're moving in the right direction. If you ever need me, call me. I would love to be a part of any kind of talks to help anyone who is homeless or just coming out of prisons who's just finding themselves in a disadvantaged situation. So I just want to thank you. God bless you. Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning, Nicole Desiderio, 900 Biscayne Bay. I heard that RE7 and FR6 were deferred, so I'll be speaking on DI3 and 5. For those who don't know, Billy did just mention there is a lawsuit, allegations of corruption, kickbacks, and illegal substances occurring at the Bayfront Park Management Trust. There is literally body camera footage of the illegal substances being removed from the Bayfront Management Park Trust offices. And as you know, attorneys, and Commissioner King, I'm sure you know very well, attorneys typically do work on contingency. That is very, very common. So I know Joe Carollo brought that up, but that is very common for attorneys to work on contingency. Joe Carollo, last year you graciously said you would step down as chair from the Bayfront Park Management Trust this January. As a downtowner, and I know I represent many downtowners, That is what we would like to see happen. It's time for a new chairperson. Commissioner Gabella, I know you're interested in the seat. I think it would be nice to see a new face in there and get some new ideas. I did also want to touch on RE6 about the upfront legal fees. Commissioner Gabella, I believe that's your item.
That's been deferred.
That has also been deferred. Okay, well, I guess you know how I feel about it, though. Thank you.
Thank you.
Chair, I need to clear the record. This lady
Have a seat.
is one of the 6 individuals
Have a seat. Thank you.
that sued the city. Why? Because they didn't want any outdoor gym equipment. They wanted for us to take it down. And when it was put to a vote of the residents of Miami, and they lost 80% to 20, even after they made it personal, and they said, by voting against the gym equipment, you're voting against Joe Carollo, and they did a whole campaign, spent thousands of dollars on that. We didn't campaign. They still lost 80-20, and they can't get over it. She's also one of our newly transplants to Miami in the last few years. She rents across the street. Welcome. But let me clarify one of the biggest false statements so that I won't have to call it a lie that she made here. She says that there was evidence and video that there was controlled substance that the trust has. That's a total falsehood. Never happened, never is. There is no evidence. In fact, the internal affairs investigation that was taken on the request of her backer, Commissioner Pardo, when he requested, demanded, he called for the police chief to do an internal affairs investigation and use his office for that, stated that no controlled substance were found. No controlled substance were found. But even, it stated, that if they had found any, there was no intent of any wrongdoing by anyone in the trust. And then they get up here and make all these false statements just so that they could try to muddy the water. They haven't been able to beat me in any other way. The residents of Miami, by 80%, said no to them, and it's nonstop. Every week is something. Maurice Ferre Park has been acknowledged by the main apps that we have in Miami because of the way we take care of it as the #1 park in all of Miami-Dade. We have more people that come to that park than many would wish would go to theirs. The Dogs and Cats Walkway is one of the main tourist attractions in the city of Miami. Go there in the afternoons on weekends and see the hundreds of people that are coming to enjoy the 2 whole blocks of sculpture gardens, 57 sculptures, and they're coming in families, enjoying it. Tourists from all over the United States and foreign countries to see it. What we were able to accomplish after 21 years that it was closed, not only did we preserve Izuma Noguchi's original fountain, but we enlarged it and made it so much better than anything that he ever dreamed or that technology was available at the time. And you have now the biggest fountain, the most beautiful fountain in America. The New Year's Eve event that they were attacking also, as the mayor said, has become the main competition to New York's New Year's Eve event. A couple of 100,000 people that were there to see it, and hundreds of thousands more that saw it in live TV or live streaming or Roku or YouTube or other ways. So, what the heck are these people talking about? If they don't like me, the way to do it is through the way things are done in a democracy, through an election. But they've lost both elections against me. They tried to recall and didn't get anywhere. So the only thing that they have left is try to defame me, attack me, and of course the latest one is to try to defame my wife, where they make the allegations that they claim that people are saying, just like this baloney lawsuit. And I say, where's the beef? Show me proof of anything. And they can't. Thank you, Chair.
Commissioner King, for the record, I had 30 seconds left, and I really would love to finish my public comment.
Please sit down. When you finished your comment and walked away, your public comment was over.
Okay, I see people come back and finish their time all the time, but I had time left.
Okay. Good morning.
Good morning. All right. So, good morning, everyone. I came here on the tree ordinance, but looking through the agenda items, there's two that really come out. RE3, was that deferred or is that still in motion? Or withdrawn?
That was withdrawn.
That was withdrawn. Okay. So RE11, is that still on the books?
That's on.
Okay. So that is an agreement for over $2.7 million to the Homeless Trust. As a resident of Little Havana and a social worker in our community, we see the need for services, especially in the area of homelessness, right? Flagler Street, if you come by after 6 o'clock, the city of Miami and its services, along with some staff, come and they clean and they water the sidewalks of our commercial boulevard there in Little Havana. But it's a constant. Right after that, they continue and they come back and they sleep in front of our businesses and in front of our homes and our sidewalks. The issue we have on homelessness is a lot, right? And so this legislation agreeing to the city manager to come up a negotiation with the Homeless Trust for over $2.7 million for 213 beds equals to more than $10,000 per bed. That's a lot. That's a lot of money. I have a resident that was sent to Hialeah in the meantime after months of trying to get the Homeless Trust to help her before she was evicted with her son and her husband and sent to Hialeah in a hotel room in Okeechobee. That is unacceptable. Our city tax money should not be going to that type of services. We should be investing in money. I agree that the trust needs funding, but we need to come up with solutions in reference to affordability and programs that are wraparound service, like the Lotus House.
Thank you.
Instead of just putting people in beds and not providing services afterwards.
Thank you.
And Chair, my apologies if I can have the speaker's name.
Ma'am, your name?
Riza Fernandez.
Good morning.
Good morning. Happy New Year, Commissioner Reyes. I'm so glad to see you. Commissioners, I just have RE9 for the children learning how to swim. I think we've been doing great. We hope for better programs is something that we all need. Remember, it's water around us all the time. RE10 for the toll weight services. We know who gave that contract a couple years back. They need review? Yes, we actually need to review the contract for the towing companies, one company. And if they are abusive, yes, they do. They abuse the system, and you as the guardians of our city should take a very good look at that contract. DI6, the protector of the property of the residents. I just have a questions. What exactly the businesses, which I represent many in Little Havana and other areas, what exactly is the protection from the properties that are residents about the need from businesses in commercial areas? So I do have, would like to have a little bit more information at what that refers and DI6. PC6, the setback for the homes. I own a home and I would like not to have a huge building next to me. But if I live in an area where it's not a T3, it's going to be hard for you to change Miami 21. T3 always should be protected at all costs because we pay for living in a house. We would like to have a house next to us. But at the same time, if you live next to a T4, I'm sorry, you bought your house to the wrong side of the neighbors. PC7, the surveys with the right-of-way dedication is very important for the owners to understand that you have a dedication and what it exactly that means for the properties who owns those properties with the dedication with the city of Miami, their responsibilities. And PC9, the wooden fence, well, that 60 feet tall fence are life safety for our police officers. Our police officers are going to be able to see if something going on in there. That's my only concern about the 6 feet tall fence.
Ms.
Thank you.
Betancourt, at the county commission, how long are you allowed to speak?
2 minutes.
And do they take up items that were deferred?
No, they do not.
I saw you yesterday. I was watching.
Yes, it's 2 minutes
Or 1
for
minute.
items that they are in the agenda only. And the reason is to stop all of these type of complaining, but people understand that you as a commissioner have a lot to take in. And one item cannot just take the entire agenda of the county because people want to express their opinion. They can send an email, they can call, they can do other things. And sometimes when it's an item we have over 100 people, the chairperson decide that one person is going to speak, they give you 5 minutes and that's it. So the fact that the city of Miami allow every single citizen to stand and do 2 minutes, even if there are 100, the county does it differently. If it's a group and everybody knows that there's 100 people coming, they give you 5 minutes. One person represents the entire group. They stand next to it. They wave their hands. But not everyone is going to be standing in there 200 minutes because 100 people show up for the same reason.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning. Michael Lee, 3325 Fro Avenue. I just want to make a comment on the ecology and tourism and things like that. That we love our parks, but in the last 30 years plus that I've been in Miami, I've seen a rapid decline of just wildlife. I don't see any horseshoe crabs in the beach. I don't see a lot of animals I used to see. And just speaking on tourism, a lot of my friends who want to come down kind of don't want to go to beaches anymore just because of they're asking me questions about feces in the water and things like that. So from just a native Miamian perspective, I would love to see just a little bit more effort into preserving our local ecology, because without ecology, we're not going to have anyone wanting to come down and spend any money down here. Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning, commissioners. Good morning to everyone in the dais. Happy New Year and blessings to all of you and your families. My name is Miguel Soliman, 1436 Southwest 6th Street. I'm here to speak on CA2. As we receive and extend mutual aid in the form of law enforcement services and resources ensuring public safety between our neighboring police forces and the newly created Sheriff's Office, I would like to request that you consider addressing the situation that we have with the reckless actions of the individuals driving mopeds through our city and through our county. They cut in front of you. It's only a matter of time. They drive in between cars. It is completely reckless. And we need to establish some regulations and give our police department, I think, specific enforcement and specific ordinances to address and for them to be able to act against these reckless moped owners. The other day I was stepping out of my house into the sidewalk. I just hesitated for a moment. If I wouldn't have hesitated, there was a moped on the sidewalk, riding on the sidewalk. If it would have hit me, it may have killed me or seriously injured me. And I can imagine what that would do to an elderly person in our community. That's all I had to say on item CA2. But just before I leave, I want to address, I'm a member of the Civil Service Board. In the Civil Service Board, when an item is deferred, it is deferred. No one else speaks on that item until the date that the item is deferred to. Same as, I believe, every single board. And that is just the law that we have to follow. Whether we like it or not, there's a lot of laws and a lot of rules, but that's what makes us a civilized society. And we just have to follow the rules and the laws. Thank you very much, Commissioner.
Thank you. Is there anyone else here that would like to speak? Seeing none, public comment period is now closed. If I may have a motion for AM 1, 2, and 3.
Excuse me, for
AM 1, 2, and 3. It's the meetings for the meeting minutes for the special meeting of October 15th, City Commission meeting October 24th, and City Commission meeting November 21st, 2024. I have a motion. Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Commissioner Pardo?
Aye.
Gotcha.
Aye.
Okay. Now, I'm going to ask my colleagues if there are any items from the consent agenda that you would like to pull for discussion from CA 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
8.
You would like to pull 8?
No, I'm saying there are 8.
Yes. Mhm.
I move.
Um,
Moved by Commissioner
hold on.
Reyes, second
Todd
by
has his
me.
hand up.
And just for the record, CA5 will be amended. Need to change the right-of-way deeds from 18 to 17 and quitclaim deeds from 2 to 3.
Okay, good.
Okay. So I have a motion, and Commissioner Gabella, are there any items on the CA agenda that you would like to pull for discussion?
No.
No. Seeing none, I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. We have PH items. Are there any PH items that you would like to pull, Commissioner Reyes? No. Commissioner Gabella?
PH items.
It's 1 through 6.
No, I think I'm good.
Good. I know Todd. Commissioner Coro? Nothing? Okay.
Move it.
Hold on. I have a motion and a second, but hold on a second. There's something I can't block vote.
Oh, no. Just for the record, PH4 needs to be amended pursuant to a substitution memo dated January 22nd, 2025.
Okay. Commissioner Pardo, do you have any? I'm sorry, because I forgot to ask you,
No problem. I don't. I would have jumped in. Thank
Okay,
you.
good. So I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And PH4 as amended. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries unanimously. Okay. Now, our resolution items. Are there any items that you would like to pull for discussion from the REs? RE1, 2 is deferred, 3 was withdrawn, 6 is deferred, 7 is deferred.
Madam Chair, could we pull 12 and 13 to address those separately? Because they're interrelated.
Okay. Pull 12 and 13 for discussion.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else?
Madam Chair, I'd like to add myself as a sponsor as well on RE9.
RE9, Todd, I believe all of the commissioners are sponsoring RE9.
Yeah, and I'd just like to add, if I may, with your permission, Madam Chair, through the chair, that in my district, this is not going to happen this year, but I asked for, I spoke of this yesterday, I'd like for the Curtis Park pool to be included, so I just wanted to put that on the record.
Great. Every park with a pool should be included in this. If it is not, every park with a pool should be included in this legislation.
Madam Chair, can we also for discussion pull RE15?
Okay.
So 12 and 13 or 13?
12, 13, and
12,
15.
15, yeah.
12, 13, and 15?
15
12,
for
13,
discussion.
and
12,
15
13,
for
and 15
discussion.
for discussion.
Okay.
And Chair, once you get ready to finalize the list for the block vote, there are a number of items that need to be amended.
Tell me the ones that's as amended.
RE8, RE9, RE10, and RE11 all need to be amended.
Okay. Commissioner Reyes, do you want to pull anything for discussion? No. So may I have...
Well, wait a minute. I'm sorry.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
How are you amending RE10, for example?
RE9 is to be amended pursuant to, just a moment. It's my understanding that there's a Scrivener's error on page 3. We're talking RE9, correct?
No, RE10.
Oh, RE10. RE10 is simply missing a directive to the city clerk to transmit the legislation. So that's the only amendment, RE10.
Okay, no problem.
All right. So may I have a motion for RE1, RE4, RE5, RE8 as amended, RE9 as amended, RE10 as amended, RE11 as amended, and RE14.
Motion.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Excuse me. RE7 was deferred, correct?
Yes, until February 27th.
All right. In RE15,
Is pulled for discussion.
it was pulled for discussion?
Yes,
Okay, who pulled it?
the manager.
Okay. And RE14 is instructing the manager to take this step.
Yes.
That's fine. One that can be discussed later, but that's fine. We can move forward.
Okay, so I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. And Mr. City Manager, I have the chairman of the Homeless Trust before us, Ron Book.
Madam Chair, members of the Commission, Mr. Manager, Mr. City Attorney, I'm here, Ron Book, 4000 Hollywood Boulevard, Suite 677 South, Hollywood 33021, together with Vicki Millette, the Executive Director of the Homeless Trust at 111 Northwest 1st Street. I simply wanted to say thank you. I've said to several of you over the last 6 or 7 months that in the 34 years of the Trust's existence, we have never had a stronger partnership with the city than we have today. Tonight, we will start our pit count. You'll have raw numbers probably in the next day or two. We expect the numbers in the city, the geographic boundaries of the city, to be at all-time lows. We feel great about where we are. We simply want to tell you thank you. We want to tell the management of the city thank you, Mr. Gilbert, his team. If we don't talk once a day, we talk 12 or 13 times a day. I think the ability to stand up these additional shelter beds in partnership with the city and in the shared financial arrangement that we have from a business standpoint is working. And again, I think you'll see that in the numbers tonight. Look, we can talk about sheltered numbers all day long, and we know that we are bursting at the seams. But the ability to insulate ourselves from the civil lawsuits created under House Bill 1365 that went into effect on January 1 is great. And the shelter beds that we have largely stood up are well outside of the boundaries, the geographic boundaries of this city. And I believe that our efforts to spread the wealth, if you will, countywide, has been heard not only by the trust, but by others in our community. And we simply didn't want to be here and not say thank you.
Thank you, and thank you for the work that you do. And our HEAP team is amazing. Our HEAP, I've gone out with them late at night, and it is something to address the homeless population. The time I went out, we put like 4 families in shelter. They said, yes, I want to go to shelter. And it was just something to see
When
and
you
experience.
can take somebody from the street instantaneously and put them into shelter or housing, you know you're winning. When you have people that greet us on the street and say we're ready to go, you know you're winning. And I will tell you that we use these opportunities like we have today, the cold weather, the inclement weather. People think we only pull people off the streets when we got a hurricane coming. They think we only deal with people when there's a heat warning. When we take advantage of cold weather, last week alone, we retained 38% of the people we took in, and we took in over 100 individuals last week. We've stood up approximately 125 beds to deal with the cold weather of the next 3 days. Our goal, again, we track everybody that comes in so that we can tell you 3 weeks from now, 3 months from now, a year from now, how many we retained from that inclement weather situation. So it is extremely rewarding. And any of you who have nothing to do, 9:45 tonight, we'll be at City Center. We take off. A bunch of the city administration, a bunch of them smiling over here, will be with us. We'll finish about 4 o'clock in the morning. You're welcome to come count with us.
Thank you. And our next step is permanent housing. We're going to utilize tiny housing to permanently house those who were previously unhoused. And I'm really looking forward to that initiative. Mr. Vice Chair.
If I may address Mr. Book, Ron, it's good to see you here and that you're doing much better.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Just don't get to the point like you used to be that you don't stop talking.
Love you, pal. And you don't hear abuse coming from the microphone when I come to the microphone.
No. If I could ask you if you could do the following, if it's possible, in your count that you're going to start doing tonight. One, can you give us a breakdown at the end by district? By district of the city, so we could pinpoint, you know, the percentage of the homeless that we have in each district.
Madam Chair, through you, we will be able to tell you exactly not only how many are in each of your districts, we can tell you where they are. The software we've now used, this will be the 5th time we've used it. We geofence, we can tell you specifically as we enter. And look, we're going to do something tonight we don't normally do. We had an argument about it yesterday. We normally, when we start counting, we really just count. But because of the cold weather, we're going to have trailing vans with us tonight so that we can take people, Madam Chair, at 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock in the morning that are ready to come out of the cold tonight. We will move them as well. But yes, it will take us a few days, Mr. Vice Chair, to get you those numbers, but we will prepare a package for each of you so you know what's in your district.
Well, secondly, could you...
You said yes too soon.
Thank you. Secondly, if you could get for us, where are these homeless coming from? Are they locals from Miami? Are they from Broward County, from another county in the state? Are they from another part of the country, like we have found so many of them? Or are they from a foreign country that have recently come over to the United States? I think it's important so that we could get a clear roadmap as to our needs in the future, so that we could see how many of our our own people here, we've been taken care of. Has that risen or gone down in the locals, real locals that are homeless, for whatever the reason? Or is it that we're getting an influx from other parts of the country, or in the last year or two from individuals that have come from all over the world into our country, into our city, basically and mainly through the southern border? And that will give us a roadmap as to what we need to prepare for and how we're heading in dealing with this situation for the future.
Madam Chair, if I could through you. The answer is yes, and I caution you. I remind you, we've had this conversation a number of times over the last decade or so. The homeless population is transient. They're all coming from somewhere else. We can tell you a bunch of that, and we will. I remind you that you have three types of homeless: situationally, episodically, and the chronic. And the chronic are the population that most people look at. 365 or more consecutive days on the streets, for instance, of homelessness in a 2-year period. That's the population most focused on. More of your local population are going to be situationally homeless, and we grab so many of them, Commissioner, in our opportunity to pick up 3 or 4 months' rent, a lot less expensive to the community if we can catch them and if we can do rapid rehousing with them. But we can do that, and we will provide that to you. I will tell you, I recently had a conversation with an elected official on Miami Beach. And he and his chief of staff attempted to tell me that they don't have any homeless people from Miami Beach, that they're all from the mainland. And I had this conversation, and I can't make it up. It was a Friday afternoon, 3.5 weeks ago. And they argued with me that the problem isn't their problem. And that's why they shouldn't be sheltering anybody and everybody that's potentially there. And I reminded them that we had 53 individuals we had taken from Miami Beach and were housing them in our transitional housing location called Mia Casa. But they're not from Miami Beach. So I caution you about using that data too loosely, because everybody comes from somewhere. Duration of how long they've been here might be more relevant than knowing whether they were from New York or from California or anywhere else in the world, as you've cited. So yes, we will get it for you. Yes, we have it. Yes, we will get you the geofence so that each of you know who's in your district and where they were tonight.
And, before you go, you and Ms. Millette,
the other Miss Millette.
well, the original one, as I like to call her, worked for me when I was mayor.
She was
But
12 years old.
you have a very capable sister at your side. The tiny homes that we talked about, and I originally brought up the idea a couple of years ago when we were discussing Virginia Key. And I was told there was no electricity, there was no water, where we were planning on bringing them, and boy, oh boy, here we go again with people making up stuff. There was plenty of water right next door, just a few feet away. There was plenty of electricity. There was all kinds of drainage, everything that was needed. So that wasn't the case whatsoever. Where are you considering placing the tiny homes now?
Madam Chair, through you.
And Commissioner Gabella would like to say something as well.
So the answer is we are working aggressively with a tiny home entity to get their product approved under the Florida and South Florida building codes, respectively. We've been engaged with them for several months. We have reached a tentative agreement with them on pricing. So we've identified the product. I think identifying the product was critical.
What is the approximate pricing that you've gotten so far?
This is a 2-bedroom, 465 square foot home.
That's huge.
Split ACs, kitchen, living area, bathroom. It's a legitimate home. Unlike the sheds, unlike the pallet homes, unlike a lot of products that people talk about being home, that are homes, but the bathroom's down the road, and the kitchen is a common kitchen down the road. This is all self-contained. We are looking hard at a parcel on the south end of the county that we've identified as a potential. The hiccup for us right now is the cost of the infrastructure, getting the lines to the property. We have begun to talk to your staff about, not Mr. Vice Chair, your staff, but the county administration staff. Right. And by the way, we have taken folks from administration to see a tiny home development in Tallahassee about a year and a half ago, as a result of your raising the issue. We took them to see what that community looked like. That started as a 50-unit tiny home community for formerly homeless individuals. They have now added 100 homes. It's workforce and affordable, mixed in with formerly homeless. It's a legitimate community. We wanted folks to see it. We have an architect on board that's done a site plan layout for us as to what it would take. Our conversations with your team today is about some of the parcels around the city where we could put 3 homes or 4 homes on a property, where there are sewer lines, electric lines, and the like. The cost of the product, which you just asked, we believe we've reached an agreement for a 50% discount on the first 75 at approximately $26,000 a unit. It costs $11,000 to ship 2 homes in a container, so you add $5,500 a unit, and it's approximately $3,000 to, if you will, set it up, hook it up to the sewer lines, water lines, and electric lines, and you have a completed product. We've agreed to buy a second up to 75 at $52,000 a unit, plus the $5,500 in transport and the $3,000 install. Those numbers could shift $1 or $2, Commissioner, as we've moved through product approval. Some of those costs are going to go up a little bit, but one of the things they did to speed up product approval was they've chosen a window and a door that are already hurricane tested. These are legitimate homes to withstand storms and the like.
Mr. Vice Chair, may Commissioner Gabella ask a question?
Oh, sure. Go ahead.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Chair. I just wanted to, I feel compelled that I must speak on the issue because, as you know, Ron, I wind up with most of this problem. And I just want to say in the case of the city of Miami Beach, where they do not want to, acknowledge, okay, because of course they're exporting their problem to us. And I have spoken every time, not every time, but, out of 3 meetings that we have a briefing on, I talk about this issue and I continue to talk about this issue, And I was down in Camila's house on Thanksgiving Day. My wife and we helped serve meals, and I was there during the whole time. I didn't go for a photo op. I was there because I wanted to see the situation, although I had been there for 4 months. And I spoke to the gentleman, the new gentleman coming in, and about the money fight that we were having with the city, with us, and I explained to him that, to us it looked like they were taking advantage of the situation because of the January 1st, law to come in signed by Governor DeSantis, And I got educated, more on the subject. I think these cities like Miami Beach need to take responsibility because we cannot continue to afford this kind of practice where they say they don't have a homeless situation because, of course, they export it to us, and then we wind up, suffering the consequences. We have, our troubles, we have enough as it is for these guys to be saying that they don't have a problem. A message to Miami Beach, acknowledge that you have a problem and you're exporting your problem. I have even, asked the chief of police, well, if they're exporting and, their people to us, let's export them back to them, because I don't think it's fair. And I say this, out of compassion for the people that are, in the streets right now, which is cold. But also, there's also, we got to have clean streets. Nobody wants this is the problem. Okay, but we have to find a solution. I'm bearing the brunt of the situation here, bearing the consequences on Northwest 7th Avenue and 17th Street, where Camilo's house is. And I understand that we've, by passing this, we have 200 and something, 36 beds, I believe it is. But at the end, I'd like to work with you or whoever I can to get the situation under control, because right now I don't think we have control of this situation. And I know it's an ongoing situation. I know this is not a permanent fix. I know this is a hard, battle to deal with. But I want to put it on record. Sometimes you look at the stuff, and sometimes you feel we're supposed to be doing charity, and we're and what it is it's a money situation where we can't agree on the price of a bed. And I want to thank you, Gilbert, because you do outstanding work, and you too, Ron, because I know you've been at this for years. But that's my 5 cents. Please help me, help my area, and help the city. And thank you.
Chair, through you. Let me address a couple of points you've made, and I would be remiss if I didn't shout David Gilbert's name out. And Mr. Manager, thank you. Thank you for supporting the things that David and his team bring to you. Thank your entire team, Tasha, Larry, all of whom are deeply engaged every single day in the things that we do. I don't exaggerate when I say that I and our team speak to David many, many times every single day, including the weekends. More direct to Commissioner Gabella's points. Number one, if you didn't see the Miami Herald article either yesterday or the day before, written by Aaron Leibowitz, you should pick it up and read it. Because the point that Commissioner Gabella has made is real. They believe, and way before 1365 was law, they believe if they arrest people enough and send them over to TGK, they'll stop taking the bus pass across the causeway. And that's just a bunch of BS. I can tell you I've had commissioners beg us, press us, and push us to get transit to alter the bus route so they're not taking them back across the causeway. Of course the population's going to shift. At some point, somebody gets tired of a night at $284 a night, $274 a night in the jail. I repeat, $274 a night in the jail, $325 a night if it's a mental health bed in the jail, and if they arrest them enough, they're staying in your city. So the answer to that question is yes, that is happening, and it's been happening, and it didn't start when 1365 went into effect on October 1 or January 1, the two respective dates. The fact is, I can't stop that, and if you read the article says 40% of the individuals that they arrested in 2024 were homeless. 40% versus the rest of the county. I believe, Madam Chair, I believe the article said that it was either 20 or 25% countywide, but 40% on the beach. So the answer to the question is yes, we will continue to work together. I don't have an answer to them sending people back across the causeway to TGK. So I can tell you the bus pass situation ain't changing, and the bus route's not changing.
Right. Mr. Book, thank you.
Thank you.
We could talk about this all day. We are all very passionate about what's happening with our homeless population and trying to eradicate and get to functional zero. And I know our team are doing a wonderful job with their efforts in helping our homeless population.
Chair,
and at this,
can you imagine what
they would be saying about the city of Miami government if instead of Miami Beach doing that 40%, it would have been the city of Miami. They would have been, bringing in the ropes to lynch all of us, screaming bloody murder to us. Little Billy would have been here jumping up and down. The other guy with the beer, doing the same. Probably I get the blame like I always do. But this is the hypocrisy of what happens in this county. Others do things like that, and they get a little article, and nothing much happened. But the city of Miami, it's got to be destroyed. It's got to be changed upside down.
Thank you. At this time, I'm going to ask my colleagues, would you like to recess for lunch and take up the two meetings that we have? We have the Southeast Overtown Park.
I would, Chair, but the earliest that I might possibly be back is 2:30, most likely 3. So if we could recess until 3, I would appreciate it.
Well, can't we take up the two? There are two quick meetings. Only one item on Virginia Key Beach, and just a few items on the and the persons for the board. They're here.
If they truly will be quick.
It will be quick. So I am going to recess the City of Miami Commission meeting until after
3?
Until 3 o'clock, because we have to have these meetings. And we will convene the Southeast Overtown Park West CRA meeting right now.
And Chair, just
Oh,
give you...
I'm sorry. The city attorney needed to read. You need to read it now, or when we come back? When we come back from lunch, because I already reconvened. I already recessed the meeting. So
Just need a minute to flip the tape.
flip the tape. Thank you, Todd. Are you ready?
Because I'm not against the trees. I'm not against the trees.
We're going to start the Southeast Overtown Park West CRA meeting. I'm going to turn the mic over to our Executive Director, Mr. James D. McQueen. Ma'am, I'll speak to you after these two meetings. Okay.
We have good afternoon. We have a few items. I'm going to allow Mr. Brown to read those items into the record.
Item 1 is a resolution that has to be amended authorizing the executive director to accept the City of Miami conveyance of properties identified as folio number 01-0100-001 000-055 and folio number 01-01-070-1055, Miami-Dade County, Florida, for the specific purpose of affordable and workforce housing as described in Exhibit A. This item must be amended. The ninth whereas clause must reflect that resolution number be R-25-001, which will be taken up by the City Commission at this afternoon.
It was already adopted by the city.
Okay, I'm sorry. It was. Okay, thank you. Item number 2 is resolution authorizing the executive director to negotiate and execute a lease agreement in the form acceptable to the General Council for approximately 2,268 square feet of rentable space at 819 Northwest 2nd Avenue, Miami, Florida 33136. Item number 3 is a resolution authorizing the executive director to negotiate and execute a lease agreement in the form acceptable to the General Council for approximately 1,635 square feet of space at 250 Northwest 9th Street, Miami, Florida 33136. Item number 4 is a resolution authorizing the executive director to negotiate and execute a lease agreement in the form acceptable to the General Council for approximately 1,200 square feet of rentable space at 171 Northwest 11th Street, Miami, Florida 33136. Item number 5 is a resolution authorizing the executive director to dispense funds for historic preservations in the amount of $250,000 to the Black Archives. Item number 6 is a 4/5 item, a resolution by 4/5 ratifying, approving, and confirming the executive director's recommendation and finding that competitive negotiating methods and procedures are not practicable or advantageous, waiving the requirements of competitive bid for further approving a grant in the amount of $81,155 to support Breath of Life of the Arts in youth programming, $82,155 for development of youth programs.
At this time, I'd like to open the floor for public comment. If there's anyone here that would like to speak on any of the items that are being presented, please step forward. Seeing none, public comment period is now closed. I will ask my colleagues if they would. I have a motion. I have a second. Are there any items that you would like to discuss? Seeing none, I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Thank you all.
And again, for the record,
we do have the minutes from
Yes.
the November 21st
I'm sorry.
meeting.
again, for the record, item number 1 as amended, and yes, as Madam City Attorney stated, we do have the minutes for November 21st, 2024 Southwest CRA meeting.
May I have a motion for the minutes of the November 21st Southwest Overtown Park West CRA meeting? I have a motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries
Aye.
unanimously. And that shall conclude the Southeast Overtown Park West CRA meeting for January 23, 2025. Thank you all. And at this time, we will flip
Just 60 seconds.
flip the tape and have
And
our
we're-
Virginia Key Beach Park Trust meeting. Where did Vince go? Are we ready? Ready? Todd, are you ready?
Yes.
Okay. At this time, we are going to begin the Virginia Key Beach Park Trust meeting for January 23, 2025. I'm going to turn it over to our Executive Director. Madam Executive Director.
Good morning. Thank you, Chairwoman. We only have the minutes for the October 15, 2024 meeting, and we need a approval on that.
Keep going. Tell me everything, and so I can open up the floor for public comment.
And then we have one item, which I'll have the attorney read into record.
Good morning, Madam Chair. It's a resolution of the Virginia Key Beach Park Trust with attachments approving and submitting the annual report for fiscal year 23-24 pursuant to Section 2-890 of the City Code of the City of Miami, Florida, as amended, and providing for an effective date. And then there is one discussion item regarding the quarterly update by the Executive Director on the status of the historic Virginia Key Beach Park.
Thank you. At this time, I will open the floor for public comment. Is there anyone here that would like to speak on any of the items on the agenda today? Seeing none, public comment period is closed. May I have a motion to approve the minutes?
Move it.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries
Aye.
unanimously. May I have a motion for the resolution, the annual report, accepting the annual report? I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. And Madam Executive Director, you have an update?
Yes, so in your quarterly report, we would like to bring attention to the museum. We've been working closely with the county. We're working on drafting the grant agreement, which we're going to get executed by the city manager. And we're working also with the Office of Budget and Management to release the funds, and also with city administration to help us advance the funds.
That's fantastic news. We are one step closer to realizing the dream of Madam Athley Range of having a museum reflective of that space and all of the things that have happened for that space. And I'm looking forward to it, and I'm proud to serve with you. Thank you so much. And at this time, I will conclude the Virginia Key Beach Park Trust meeting for January 23, 2025. And I will see you back for the City of Miami Commission meeting at 3 o'clock.
Thank you.